Customizing your weapons/tools to perfectly fit you, a tradition that has been followed by native warriors throughout history, and why it is perfect for survivalists. I turned my bow into a multi-tool that serves many purposes when I'm out there exploring the wilderness. Now my bow is a walking stick, a fighting club, an animal catcher, a spear, a shepherd's sling, and much more. After having the above conversation with my good friend from the Dine Nation in the Navajo reservation, we decided to address the topic. Res caliber. Hi banana. He's a fellow archer and always customizes his weapons, even if some of them are less lethal for training. Keeping the tradition alive and thriving, native warriors had to make their own weapons and customize them. The size, shape, material, and decorations worked to practically fit each warrior and inspire them. It's the same initiation as the creation of a ghillie suit by a sniper. So let's dive into it, shall we? In this video, I will only address the special features of my bow. A separate video is being prepared about the arrows. This is a survivalist or even a military type of bow, designed to be a modern tool, but its roots come from the historical Plains Native American shortbow. Obviously, this is a bow, so to state the obvious, its main purpose is to shoot arrows. But why not advance it way beyond just that? Even though it is small and only has 35 pounds of pulling strength, it hits decently and from quite a distance. I play rough. I can't stand it when my toy breaks easily when I do ape activities in nature. I also can't stand holding back to not scratch my precious and expensive bow. So I made this recipe to fit my monkey instincts, and now I can toss my bow around with no fear or worries. It's best if you watch these two previous uploads for a better understanding of what I'm doing differently with these bows and why I have no problem treating them this way. Since this bow is basically a straight strong stick that happens to also send arrows flying, I use it to walk around as well. A walking stick helps you save a ton of energy while hiking, but also it eliminates the bow's own weight because you don't have to carry it on you. Also, no space is taken since it is always equipped, so you can store your other stuff on you in a more comfortable way. This extra leg will use the muscle power of your arms to take you up and down mountains, thus giving your legs a break. But it also gives you extreme balance and stability. Test the surface and stab the bow on the ground when it is slippery, for example. The main reason I like short bows is because I can maneuver around narrow paths better, but it also helps when used as a walking stick. It is short enough to not get stuck on the ground if I decide to sprint suddenly. Having a long stick in your hands while exploring out there is vital. You can search and test the ground, or simply push vegetation out of your way. All in one. You made your weapon useful in such a way that makes it weightless. All of these things are possible thanks to a little secret I use in the recipe. I placed thick steel screws on both ends of the shaft. Thanks to the properties of bamboo and PVC, any vertical impact is fully absorbed. Hit it on the ground all you want. Test the rocks. Toss them out of the way and have no worries. Your bow remains durable. But how durable is durable? If breaking stones didn't convince you, then this will. My bow is a baton, a fighting club to spank my enemies. Although the traditional shape of these bows were like seagull wings, I adopted a straight shape to do these things. The main con of these things though is that you can't apply them on a bow with a heavier draw, unless someone corrects me. But even though it is not strong enough to properly take down big game, it is still what I would take with me, since most places nowadays only have small game. Plus, the main purpose of this bow is to be your silent sidearm, while your main weapon is a proper rifle. I also placed 2 more screws on key points to serve as both the edge of impact when hitting something and holding the string properly. When I get tired after my long walk, I can simply fall softly on the ground with the help of my staff, and then stand up again without getting miserable because of my exhausted legs. The one good thing about this bow shape and drawing weight is that you can string it easily in seconds. You can do it even while sitting. You're not limited by bow laws with this toy. One of the reasons my shaft is so durable is because I wrap some texture on it. It is a strong cloth glued with a thin layer of rubber adhesive. It is replaceable and it protects the main material from scratches and absorbs a lot of the impact. In my case, I used some camo, practical to the last detail. You can hide your items and nobody will take them away from you. Just don't forget where you put them or they'll be lost for good. But obviously, its main purpose is being stealthy. The only problem with this long stick is that it has no pointy end. Let's fix that. My bow is also a spear. I made a bayonet that can be equipped. Although you can make it be fixed on the bow always, I prefer taking it down for better storage and carry. When it is on the bow, it doesn't affect the flight of the arrows to the slightest. That's a plus. No arrows, no problem. Surprise them with something bigger. Never let them know your next move. If you know how to fight with a short spear, then you are dangerous, especially against aggressive animals. All these things are possible thanks to the strength of my string. It is strongly fixed permanently on one end of the shaft. It can take a lot of abuse without a single scratch. Now you can finally toss the bow and reach for your stuck basketball on the hoop. My thumb is always locked through the string's loop in all these activities. This gives me full control of the bow. I can simply pull the string this way and my lost shaft comes back to me, like Thor's hammer. Are you an Aztec warrior and you need alive captives to keep the sun rolling? No worries, I'm using techniques to grab and hold the target. In combination with a shaft and powerful string, I can capture animals and keep them at a safe distance. Notice how some of my shots are extremely silent? Here is how I do it. A normal bow produces a lot of vibration, thus sound. But I placed fur on 4 key points to reduce vibrations. 2 of them are on the 2 roots of the string, exactly where the string rattles and hits the shaft with every vibration. And 2 more at the borders of my handle. From there I can silently place an arrow and shoot it. And now for my favorite one. I turned my bow into a shepherd's sling. I designed an extra string with an attachable piece of leather. I can put this accessory on my main bow at any time and turn it into a bow that shoots stones. When a bow has no arrows, it turns into dead weight. Not mine. It will crush your skull, pierce you, throw stones at you, and so on. I'm figuring out my own special ways for some efficient reloading to achieve speed shooting. Slings are new to me, so forgive me for missing the target most of the time. Now I'm exploring a scenario. For context, my arrows are designed for short distances to do speed shooting techniques. So I'm shooting stones at a long range, and suddenly my target closes in, and soon will be at a melee distance. Can I switch from a sling into a bow function fast enough? For these things to really be practical and work, they need to be in harmony with one another. I need to easily switch in between each special use and not be limited. In the following clips, the scenario is reversed. I'm all out of arrows, and I'm quickly switching into a sling as a last resort before I flee the scene. If I want a pure archery experience, I can always disassemble every accessory. I can store each item in a bag, for example, but I can also store everything on the bow. Next up, a little trick to shoot at a turning trajectory around obstacles, even with knockless arrows. This little knot on the string. It sits above the middle point where the arrow would normally be knocked. It is a little step for the back of my arrow to sit and not slip because of the crooked angle. So, to make a long story short, I made my fun bow be extra fun. But wait, the most important functions weren't shown yet. Roll pies to make bread. Stir your soup. Hang your washed clothes. Hang an enemy tiny crocodile for treason. Knock on the walls to inform your neighbors that they're being loud. Scratch your back. The possibilities are endless. Alright, that was it for now.
Yeah, hagone.